You're listening to Talking Impact with Team Venom.
Hi and welcome to a very special edition of Talking Impact. This is the first Talking Impact that we're also going to be putting on our Facebook page and YouTube. So if you want to see how handsome the pair of us are, you can obviously check that out and see our wonderful faces. So for this one, I'm going to be hosting it for once instead of our usual host, Mr. Impact Connor Franks, who will be joining me as a guest. Because we'll be talking about Final Resolution 2020, which was last night at the time of recording. So obviously, first, what we're intending to do is summarise each match, and also let you know which one out of Team Venom got the predictions right. Because me and you, Connor, as well as your brother Danny, all offered our thoughts on the last episode of Talking Impact. So yeah. So let's get into it, and let's chat about Tommy Dreamer versus Larry D.
Yeah, Final Resolution kicked off with the feud-ending match to the Johnny Bravo assassination attempt storyline, pitting Tommy Dreamer on Johnny Bravo's behalf against the culprit Larry D, with Larry D's freedom on the line, as the stipulation was that if Larry D lost, he'd be going to jail, and if Larry D won, he'd be a free man. Sadly for Larry D, and decent storytelling, Dreamer made short work of him with the DDT and picked up the win, then left Larry D handcuffed, ready for his jail time, because wrestling.
Yes. And the obviously the official result is Tommy Dreamer won, and none of us got that right because we all predicted that Larry D was going to win and carry on the storyline.
Well, it's official. Release Larry D from Impact, because there's no way they can build him up now to be legitimate.
Unless they already have. For all we know, it could be that his contract's about to expire and this could be how they've wrote him out.
Could be.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it would. And it's the only thing that must be, because no matter what promotion, if you do this, like, look at the downfall Triple XL have had.
Yeah. And
then you have this. There's no coming back if he's sticking around.
Yeah. He literally comes back to, okay, so I shot someone and I'm now out of jail like some 6 weeks later because why not? And yeah. And also our tag team's not actually won in the last year, but we did injure Alex Shelley. So there's that. And do you know what I mean? That's about all they've got for that. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah.
The second match was Havoc and Nevaeh versus the Sea Stars, which was something that I was really looking forward to, because on one hand we had the awesome established tag team of Havoc and Nevaeh, and on the other hand we had established indie tag team of Sea Stars. And we both said previously, after seeing the Sea Stars lose their match in the opening round of the Knockouts Tag Title Tournament, that we'd like to see them both pick up Impact contracts and add to the Knockouts Tag Division. So it's pretty cool that this has happened. And the match itself was a cracking little match, and it saw Impact's established team pick up the win when Nevaeh hit Delmy with the sit-out facebuster and covered her for the 3 count, which, you know, I think that's pretty much the right call for saying that Havoc and Nevaeh is still in the tournament.
If this match was the Sea Stars against, like, I know it wouldn't be Diona because she had a match, but if it was like the Sea Stars versus Diona and Kimberly, then it'd have been good to have the Sea Stars go over, because it looks like that they're keeping them around, which is good, because I'm a big fan of Ashley Vox.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the right call. Havoc and Nevaeh are still in the tournament, I think, aren't they?
Yes, they are, yeah. And it was a clean sweep for us, as all three of us, it's me, you, and your brother all predicted Havoc and Nevaeh to pick up the win. So
very true. We then got another tag match where it was Tennille Dashwood and Caleb, with a K, versus Eddie and Alicia Edwards. Intergender tag team match, which, while good, played second fiddle for the Eddie Edwards-Sammy Callihan feud, as I predicted. But Sammy's music hit to allow a distraction and Tennille to pick up the win following a super kick to Alicia, as I predicted. After the match, Sammy came out from under the ring and attempted to pile drive Alicia, but Impact officials were on hand to prevent this from happening. But yeah, Tennille Dashwood and Caleb got the win, and then Sammy came down afterwards, as I predicted. And just remind me real quick here, Rory, who got this right?
I believe that was Danny.
You're a fucking liar.
No, the prediction-wise, only you got that right. So, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, the next match, anyway, was Hernandez and Falaba in a match that you did not predict correctly.
The thing is, I was going to go with the clean sweep as well with Hernandez, but I was like, Falabar's another person who just doesn't win now.
Yeah.
But then Hernandez is at that point where it doesn't matter if he loses.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Hernandez has just been sort of there for the last 3 years, to be fair. Not, I don't mean that disrespectfully. He's just sort of.
It's exactly what's happened.
Impact. He's just, that's Hernandez.
The last like spotlight-ish thing that happened to him was when he did the OGs versus the new LAX.
Yeah.
Since then, he's just sort of been hanging around the back, playing cards, having arm wrestling matches.
Which has essentially led to this matchup because the story was that Hernandez wanted his money back that Barr had stolen for Johnny Bravo's wedding. And then Hogan and Steels had stolen that off Barr. And then we got Kira Hogan as the special ref and Tasha Steels as the guest timekeeper.
Ring announcer, sorry. Yes, that was it. It's, same sort of difference really, isn't it? And for when it's a special guest one. And then following that, Hernandez. Did you miss what I said?
What?
Oh, when you fucking useless, you went, yeah, and then I went, I miss Andy.
I'm just like, I think I just ignored it out of shock because my brain didn't register that you'd ever say those words.
It's fine. I feel like I've just caught some kind of disease just from saying it.
Just from saying it, you got razonitis. But so Hernandez picked up the win and afterwards demanded his money, and Tasha Steels opened up a fanny pack that she got for the which had got all the money in. Which, one of the things that I thought has been pretty stupid about this whole thing so far is when Tasha Steels and Kieran Hogan were like bragging about the money backstage. That was like a week or so ago. Why would they even like bring it with them to the show? Why not just go spend it?
I know. But this is the issue I
the whole time.
This is the issue I always have with things like this, and I think this is part of the whole kayfabe thing.
Yeah.
But because social media is now such a big part of wrestling in any company, when Falabar kept like, when he had the money, he'd always hide it and everything.
Oh, he had the shirt on.
I just sit watch it. He held on to it, but then I'd always just be like, do you not think? Like, do the wrestlers not watch the show back? Hernandez could have watched it, gone to Falabar and be like, give him my money.
He's
literally watched it.
He's on my Facebook friends list. What I should have done was been a good Facebook friend and messaged him and gone, Hernandez, fucking Bar's got it, mate. Just go and get it off him.
But you know what I mean? Like, Falabar's like,
he just like looks at his phone like, who the fuck's Rory Bailey? I don't remember adding this fuck.
What they could have done.
Your money, right? Okay, I'm on it.
Yeah, what they could have done instead of dragging this out to this point, which now I'm personally getting very bored of this, they could have just had it. Hernandez goes over to Falabar, he's like, "You've got my money." It's like, "No, I don't. You literally do. I watched it on Impact Plus.
Give it me."
He's like, he's like, "No, I know you have my money," and he's like, "How do you know?" He's like, "Because I watched last week's episode on Impact Plus." Yeah.
Anyway, next is your favourite duo, isn't it, that you get to talk about, which is EY
Eric
JG.
Young and Brokeback Hogan.
Yes.
Versus Rhino. Since losing the world title, Bound Glory and then aligning himself with Brokeback Hogan. At Turning Point, Eric Young's been destroying everyone in his path. Mostly bottom of the carders. Which in turn led to Rhino saving the Dinas from further assault from this pair on last week's Impact. It was a good match. Joe's assistance and interference proven to be too much for Rhino, which led to the Dinas running out only for Cody to turn on Jake and Eric Young to hit Rhino with his mask to keep him down for the 3 count. Please lead to something worth it.
Hopefully, this is going to lead to a Cody Dina push.
No. I mean, it'd be nice if you got one, but I'm sorry. If you're going to pick a Dina to get a push and you don't pick Jake something, you're a fucking idiot.
It could be a push for both of them.
Good, I hope it is. But if it's not, and only Cody gets a push, when you have Jake something on your roster, there's something wrong. And that might sound disrespectful, but I don't care.
But, yeah. Next one.
I just realised. Yeah, I was about to say that.
Sorry.
Hernandez and Bar, you and Danny got correctly, and we all predicted the Eric Young Rhino one.
Yeah. So next up was the Defeat Rohit challenge, and before we get into this, I'm just going to quickly say that Danny, on the prediction thing, Danny wanted Kenny Omega to be the opponent and to win the belt, which, you know, they could have gone that way because we had Kenny Omega saying that he wants the titles and everything, and that's fine. But it's just one of those things, isn't it, where like, sorry, my cat's just dug his claws into me because he's seen your cat.
This is the official.
They don't
Team
start
Venom
spraying.
kitty. This is the official Team Venom kitty. It is what it is. Mine's not a dick like yours.
He's saying that you're a dick.
He's a dick.
He just looks like. Let me just say, I am a dick.
Layla, tell him.
But yeah. So anyway, if you've been following our weekly podcast review show, Talking Impact with Team Venom, just a cheap plug there for the show that you're already listening to and watching, then you'll know that...
I love it. Yeah, that's like when you're watching a wrestling show on Layer On Network and they promote their network.
Oh, yeah. It's just like... But, you know, if you've been following us for a while, you'll know that we're all big fans of Rohit's title reign, which we are. Rohit being a friend of the show. And when I say a friend of the show, I mean a friend of Mr. Impact, Connor Franks over there, who has been able to speak to him on 2 occasions.
Me and Rohit are tight.
Yeah. Best mates, Bezzy mates, one would say.
Yeah.
And we've also been predicting that TJP as Manic was going to end
for 6 weeks.
For 6 weeks.
For 6 weeks.
And it was a really great match. You know, I can't take away from the work rate there. It was a really good match between the pair of them, and it was a good match to end Rohit's run on. And we saw Manic pick up the title, but it's sort of bittersweet that we've been expecting the Manic thing for the last 6 weeks when they first went, okay, TJP, you can't challenge anymore. But for some reason, you're still feuding with Rohit, but you can't challenge for the belt anymore. Scott D'Amore goes up 5 weeks ago. You can't use your name, TJP, but anyone other than someone named TJP can do this. Oh, for fuck's sake, you're hammering it home that it's going to be Manic. And then we get Suicide, and everyone expects it to be that, but no, Crazy Steve. Then we get Crazy Steve shot. Then we get TJP versus Brian Myers as a bit of a switch up and stuff.
Which was nice.
Which was nice. It was a great match. And the Crazy Steve versus Rohit matches have been brilliant. But it's just the thing of it's been dragged on a bit too much, I think. And while Manic did look awesome, to be fair, the new gear was pretty cool. But I mean, I would have liked to see Rohit keep the belt for a lot longer, and especially with them having the AEW thing.
I think I said it last week. Like, as long as they do it right, Rohit can be the kind of contender that's believable because he'll do anything to win, and he could win it back quickly, or it could be a while.
Yeah,
but he could always be in the picture. Like there's way to protect. So let's say they did. He's more than likely going to lose the rematches. You know, it's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But then let's say Genesis. There's X Division and 1 contender match.
Yep.
You can have it so that it's him versus Crazy Steve. Have it so Rohit does a roll up and grabs the ropes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And then the ref sees his hands on the rope and he's like, nah, doesn't count. Turns around, super kick or something. Yeah. And that's how Rohit loses that match. Yeah. He's still being the good, like, honky tonk heel, but it isn't progressing for a little bit. But I really like this character.
Yeah.
As we've said it before, I just made a reference there. It's very honky tonk.
Yeah. It's a very
racism.
It's Rohit's one of the biggest highlights of Impact since Slammiversary. Yeah. So, yeah.
It was me and you correctly predicted Manic.
Oh, yeah. We both predicted Manic and the title change correctly. Begrudgingly as well on the last one. We were just like, yeah, we think it's going to happen, but neither of us actually wanted it to happen. Yeah.
And that's not disrespect to TJP, but
no, because to be fair, TJP and Manic as a character are both fantastic, and would be great.
TJP isn't a character. Manic is.
No, I said
TJP's
both
just a good
TJP
wrestler.
and then Manic as a character.
Mhm.
That's what I was saying.
I was gonna say because TJP is just a good wrestler.
Oh, no, but Manic as a character, as well as TJP in general, are both
Yeah.
like people that you could happily slap the X Division title on, and they have, and work well for that division.
6 months time.
Yep.
Manic no longer champion by then. Manic Suicide tag title run.
That would be great, but I've had an idea. Right. What if Manic gets unmasked as TJP, and TJP then has to face Manic for the X Division title? Manic wins, but it's Rohit.
Oh,
Or Rohit as Suicide wins the belt off him, or you know what I mean? That'd be awesome. Rohit,
Cool.
if you're listening to this, which I hope you are, that's
Of
how
course
you
he
should
is.
get it back.
I'm on here.
So yeah,
We then got Deonna Purrazzo versus Rosemary for the Knockouts title. Both had their tournament partners / friends in their corner. Deonna Purrazzo had Kimberly, Rosemary was with Taya. Perfect matchup to add some instant credibility to Purrazzo's second Knockouts title run. Rosemary is one of Impact Wrestling's greatest knockouts of all time. The match was every bit as fantastic as expected, and the finish came when Deonna hit the Cosa Nostra for the 3 count. Both me and you correctly predicted this because you'd be a fucking idiot not to.
Yep.
Danny.
No, Danny tagged along, didn't he? He tagged along for the ride. He predicted this as well.
No, he didn't.
Didn't he?
No.
Did he predict Rosemary?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, he's a
He
moron.
did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Fuck's sake, Danny.
we said it last week where this match has been put on there to add an established victory for Deonna.
Yeah.
Obviously, John and Grace is established, but Rosemary has a lot of tenure at Impact. I think she's probably been there the longest out of all the women's division.
Yeah.
Thinking back, because trying to think back, she was in Decay, wasn't she?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was what, 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Decay, wow. If there's a word to describe Crazy Steve's career. Both me and you correctly predicted that the Virtuoso would successfully defend a Knockouts Championship here. Then it was AEW's time because we went to Kenny Omega's tour bus because, he couldn't put his feet inside the building. It's below him. Where Omega and Callis gave Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champion Carl Anderson a pep talk, ready for his match with Ethan Page, with Omega telling Anderson he wants to see the machine gun. KA's moniker from back in the day when he was in Bullet Club with Omega, which I have been saying that there should be members of Impact and AEW come together and be like the Elite Club or a cross-promotion club or whatever fucking bollock word they want to put in front of the World Club, which is usually how it is. I think this could be a good sign of it, which would be cool because I'd quite like to see sort of a group that isn't like, overnumbered a la NWO.
Whereas while the Bullet Club had a fair few members, if it's across
it was
the
like
two
8,
brands,
wasn't it? Yeah, that's what I mean. If it's
across the two, you're not going to get them all the time.
Yeah, you can have 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And have those be rotating on each show. Like, you never know which combination could pop up on either.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Be very happy with that.
And they just start doing a thing where they just like go, you know what? Gallows and Anderson are going to be on AEW next week, and Generation Me are going back to Impact instead.
Generation B. I feel like you couldn't have the Bucks and the brothers together in a thing. Because then that's got to be one of them things where we're instantly waiting for that to blow up.
Yeah, especially with them both being tag champs.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that everyone's going to want. So if they do a champion versus champion match and stuff, that'd be great.
Imagine if this is like a partnership set for like the long future, and I'm talking years.
Yeah.
And you know how one company has a series of annual Survivor matches?
Yeah. And they start doing that here. That'd be great.
Yeah, but it's always versus every year. It's one pay-per-view like that. That'd be nice.
And they do it in like March, April sort of time to go against the other big wrestling pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be perfect time to do it.
It would, and this one would actually be important.
Yeah.
I just mentioned Carl Anderson, so do you want to take away match?
Yeah,
number
sure.
8?
I mean, it was Carl Anderson versus Ethan Page. Storyline going into that was that Page had
Officially.
Gallows, and then he'd also lost to Swoggle, so he wasn't deserving of a tag title shot. And
How dare you?
I know, that's what they said. If Swoggle beat him, he couldn't get a title shot. So then he challenged.
Disrespecting Swoggle.
Well, no, because it meant that him losing to Swoggle meant that he couldn't get it, which is a thing for Swoggle. Swoggle's a tough opponent, man. And
Swoggle should be number 1 contender.
I mean, what would be great is not great, but what would be cool is if Gallows is out longer than expected and they just give the belt to Swoggle. We get Carl Anderson and AJ Swoggle against the Machine Guns.
Yeah, Anderson just continuously calls him Lil Bro.
That'd be awesome. But
I believe Swoggle shaves his head.
Yeah. That was AJ Swoggle for all the Bullet Club stuff that they do across the two shows.
Doc Swoggle.
But yeah, that'd be great. But then, so the thing was, if Ethan Page won, he was going to get a tag title shot for the North. We've had all this dissension between Ethan Page and Josh Alexander teased over the last few weeks, which I think's got to come to a head real soon. And obviously, Carl Anderson got the win after the gun stun and
1, 2,
3 count. And be really interesting to see where Page goes from here. And if we get Page versus Alexander, it's no small secret about Page's stuff with Impact at the moment, unless it's a troll. Do you know what I mean? He could be like, "Oh yeah, I finished up my deal with Impact."
Oh yeah,
Surprise,
I mean, have you seen it
for another 3 years?
Have you seen Ethan Page on social media? All he does is troll. So
yeah, that's true.
It could very easily be a case where they're gonna have like the blow-off match between Page and Alexander.
Yeah,
and that'll be around the time that, based on what he said, that's when his thingy expires.
Could be.
And then he goes over.
So, also in terms of predictions, all 3 of us got this right because of Ethan Page's social media. If it turns out that he's not actually going anywhere, then that's been some really good trolling because we've all bought into it. So,
ooh, imagine. Elite Club is what we'll call it for now.
Yeah.
Omega, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman Page because they're like best friends.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. Omega.
Let's not pretend like
Omega screwed Page out of the number 1 contendership.
Oh.
To get the Moxley match.
Who else could be on there then?
You still got Cody. You got the Bucks.
Nah, Cody wouldn't join like that unless he was leader.
You're fucking ego on Cody.
Oh, dude, I don't give it. I don't. Right, look, Impact. I know you like us, and I know you work with AEW. Unless you're going to put lips on arse cheeks, you cannot tell me, right?
Yeah.
That Cody Rhodes is not being like a younger VKM.
Yeah,
I don't mean Voodoo Kid Mafia.
If he was a younger Voodoo Kid Mafia, that'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be great. But yeah, Omega, someone else from AEW. I don't watch it. I don't know.
No, I don't. Thing is, I keep trying to watch it. I do.
Yeah, I think it's because, like, don't get me wrong, I know the talent on there is good.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I am not invested in anything in there.
No.
Whereas, like, I can't watch a wrestling match unless, like, I'm physically going to it without being invested in what's going on.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from, like, the cynicalism of over analysing a lot of shows over the years and being behind the curtains, things like that. It's sort of, I've hit the point where unless it's good storytelling, I won't watch regularly. Like, case in point, the E. I hardly watch anything that they do. I watch a 20-minute frigging recap show of everything that's happened over the 9 hours worth of TV. You know what I mean?
Right,
whereas Impact I watch every week.
And Pac.
Yeah.
Because I know Pac's a heel and I know he just came back to social media.
Yeah, slap Pac in there. That'd be great. Slap
Good
Pac.
brothers.
Slap Pac sounds like it's part of Retribution.
It does. Good brothers. And if Ethan Page turned out to be trolling us and sticks around, he beats Josh Alexander because the Elite are involved. He's another member.
Or he isn't trolling us and and that still plays out.
And he joins Retribution.
He just signs to AEW and still pops up on Impact.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's AEW superstar Ethan Page. He was on Impact last week." Imagine Josh Matthews losing his shit.
Oh, I can
oh
already.
my god, that's the latest AEW signing, Ethan Page. What's he doing in the Impact Zone?
I can see the tweet now. All ego is all elite. By the way, we all got that right.
Yes. So then we're on to the main event, which was Richard
Main event
Swannington.
saw
Richard
Swan.
Swannington defending the
third.
World Heavyweight Championships against
Christopher Beyblade.
Bayerinsky.
Christopher Beyblade. Yeah, the main event saw Richard Swanton and Christopher Beyblade put on an absolute classic. What was easily a star-making performance for Bay. These two have fantastic chemistry, and it showed as the match went for a good 20 minutes, but didn't feel like it. Swan picked up the win following a Phoenix Splash, and post-match we saw TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose hit the ring to... careful, that looked a bit... This is video, remember?
If people just freeze it on that.
Especially during this main event. Up next is Rich Swann versus Chris Bay. Moose hit the ring to raise Swan's hand in a show of respect, which is weird. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that Moose would do that. His whole thing since EC3 has been, I'm a big mean bastard, and now he's not been seen for a good while, and now he's like, friends.
Because he said on his promo when he was ripping into Rich Swann that he actually respected Rich Swann and appreciated that he won the belt. He's like, it's just a shame I've got to go through you like that, wasn't he? So I sort of get it, because it's now the next match for Moose is going after the World Championship, and I quite liked it. I like the thing of, instead of going the route of Moose has turned up, attacked him to close it out, to do this champion versus champion, he's like, no, we're making this a fucking money match. Do you know what I mean? They're going, money, bro, champion, and 2 titles on a pole match, bro. That's basically what's going on with it.
The thing is, if they do title v title, champion v champion don't have to be for the belts, unless they're going to do title v title, and then the winner retires the TNA one.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't have... They probably won't have Moose go over if that is the next title thing.
Yeah.
Because
Which
of
is a shame, because he's been great with that belt.
It is, but if they do
and it's a great belt.
It is a great belt. And the thing is, if Moose does go over, then there's a very good chance he's going to be like a transitional champion for Kenny Omega. And you can't have the trajectory and the journey for Moose.
Yeah, you overcame all that stuff with EC3 to not win the world title. And then lose to Kenny Omega. Yeah,
if anything, Rich Swann should have been the transitional champion.
Yeah.
I don't buy Swann as a champion. I don't buy him as a world champion.
No.
Because he's, as I've said it before, he's very much has the what's it called? Like the against all odds like challenger.
Yeah.
And
we were saying in the build up to Bound for Glory, we were saying on the preview that you can buy him as a consistent challenger, but an underdog and stuff. But the thing is, with that, they've got to get lucky. Well, not lucky.
I understand that
every now and again.
But it's just I'm the same in a lot of cases where it's not because of his height or his build or his ability. It's because when they're pigeonholed in that against all odds challenger, it's very hard to see them elsewhere.
Yeah.
Look what Eric Young had to do years ago to break that.
Yeah, to be fair, Eric Young went through so much shit to get to that point. And the thing is, even then when he won the belt, and he became TNA World Heavyweight Champion, everyone slated him for it. Like, oh no, he shouldn't be champion. And then he went off elsewhere. He was there for ages and completely held down there. Came back this year, completely buy into the fact that he's a world champion. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hold on, he's not been here for years. And so
exactly. It's just... It was a good match, though. I'm excited to see what the future holds, especially if they're going to go all in with the All Elite thing.
Yeah, definitely. I saw what you did there.
Yeah, that's for you AEW fans. I don't know what that means. But none of us got this right on the predictions. We all thought it was going to be a shock win for Chris Bay, in the same sense of transitional champion.
Winning it to lose it to Moose,
Yeah, winning it to lose it to Moose or to Omega.
you know, one thing that I was just thinking when you were going through all that was, right, what if we have Richard Swannington lose the belt to Omega before the Swan versus Moose match? And so we get Omega with the Impact World title, but not the TNA World title. Keeps that belt on Impact on AEW instead of bringing it to Impact. Moose steps up as the guy for the time being while we're waiting for the Impact World title to get back. Eventually, he gets the title back from Omega. That'd be great.
I'd be okay with that.
That'd be the perfect way of making it going, right, okay, yeah, Moose, we know he's a star and everything. It's insane that we haven't put the world title on him yet anyway, but now we've made him the guy. And yeah, it makes sense. Because after the whole EC3 one where he's got the whole control your narrative and getting Moose to the next level, prior to that, he was like a sort of joke champion, but still also an ass kicker. But it was more, they were playing him off as being a bit crazy with the title and stuff. Whereas now it's like they've put him in a position where he's like a legitimate main eventer and a big deal, which is what he should be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, Impact, go back to the six sides. Some related, but I want to throw it there.
Okay. Well, so let's wrap this up. In terms of predictions, only you and me got the most because we had a tied 7 points each. Danny was the big fucking loser with 4.
Big loser.
he lost as much as a diabetic would lose a foot.
Which he will if his journey continues.
Yes. But yeah, so Danny lost. We won. I'm happy sharing the victory with you, buddy.
Usually the case.
Because, you know, as has been known over the last year, I do play favourites. Yeah, so out of 10, what would you give this show? Because I'm set on a firm 8 for it.
7.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
It was okay. It had enjoyable moments, but it didn't pull me off my seat.
No.
It has been announced we have Genesis on January 9th.
Yep.
Which kind of weird. A week before Hard to Kill. Probably should have put that back. Put Genesis like a few weeks after Hard to Kill, but
yep.
I'm sure they know what they're doing. So we'll see what happens there. It was a decent end to the 2020 calendar, pay-per-view calendar for Impact. If I'm honest, I think I'm still spoilt from Slamversary, Bound for Glory.
Yeah,
that transition. They had such a good run of
from Slamversary to Bound for Glory as well. Each Impact was great. So
yeah, it was like the best wrestling around. And I think that's what,
in my opinion, to be fair.
No, it is. I agree, but I'm saying I think that little period there is what. Yeah, and I think that sort of spoiled me now for my ratings because I think I probably shouldn't do this. Well, I shouldn't. I think what I'm doing now is trying to compare the things going on now. So Final Resolution, for example, I think I'm trying to compare that to Bound for Glory, Slammiversary.
Yeah. Which
I shouldn't because they're not the same level pay-per-view anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 7.5 joint score. Not too bad.
Yeah. Can't grumble at that. And
no, you cannot.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. If you want and listening, if you're listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, or the website, please continue to do so. We appreciate the hell out of you. Obviously, that website's teamvenommedia.co.uk. If you want to follow us on Twitter, my handle's at @king_roster. Connor's at the Connor Franks. You can find us on as a whole at Team Venom Media, and this will now be going up on our YouTube channel as well. So if you're listening to us, feel free to check out the video and see how hunky the pair of us are. Notice that this is the only time that that we're doing a video because it's us two.
No one's clicking on Danny's face.
And any of the other ugly bastards that we had working for us over the last year. So thanks everyone for your time. And yeah, we'll catch you soon.
See you later. And his wife's ugly.